All right, everybody. How are we doing today? Welcome back to another episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Today is December 18th. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm going to be breaking down my predictions from the Champions League group stage because some of them, I got to admit, pretty awful. But some of them are actually pretty decent, including I did predict some big teams to not make it to the Champions League knockouts. And there was one team that I really underestimated from Italy that I should not have. And there's one Spanish team too. But it's going to be a fun video. I can't wait to do this. It's been weeks in the making because I've been waiting to do this video. I had to wait for the draw. The Champions League group stage ended on Wednesday. Had to wait for the draw. That was supposed to be Friday's video, but I didn't know the draw was not until today. The draw happened this morning. So let's break down the Champions League group stage and give you a preview of the round of 16. So I did these predictions back in September. I picked about 54% of the games correct based on a win, loss, or draw. So let's go group by group and see how bad I did. So Group A, I had Bayern, Galatasaray, United, then Copenhagen. It didn't end exactly like that. I had Bayern right, but Copenhagen came out of nowhere, and I don't think many people expected Copenhagen to make the Champions League knockouts. And much respect to Copenhagen, they deserve to be here. They played a pretty good amount of results. They played 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, which equals them on, which got them through the knockouts on 8 points. And granted, 8 points usually doesn't make it into the Champions League knockouts, but due to how much that group is imploding, it's kind of inevitable. So let's go match by match. So first match, I had Galatasaray drawing Copenhagen, and Galatasaray drew Copenhagen. So we're already 1-for-1. I think that was a 2-2 match. It was very fun. I vaguely remember that one. And then we had United losing to Bayern 4-3. I had Bayern winning that match 3-0, so I got the result right, but it was a fun match to watch as well. Then we had Bayern beating Copenhagen. I did have that. I said it was going to be a 3-1 to Bayern. It was actually a 2-1 to Bayern. Then I had Galatasaray drawing Manchester United, and we know how this script goes. Galatasaray comes from behind to beat Manchester United 3-2 at Old Trafford. Then I had Galatasaray, so I'm like 3-for-4. That's not bad. Then we had United play Copenhagen, and I had that score prediction correct, and I had the result and score correct. I had Manchester United winning 1-0. It ended Manchester United winning 1-0. Then I had Bayern beat Galatasaray, which did happen. Then I had Bayern beat Galatasaray again, and that was correct. Bayern won 2-1 in real life, but I had them winning 1-0. I knew Galatasaray was going to be tough. And then I had Copenhagen drawing United, and Copenhagen beat Manchester United, so it's not like the worst shout ever. And then I had Galatasaray drawing United, and Galatasaray just beat Manchester United again. It's not the best prediction there. Then I had Copenhagen draw Bayern. I thought Bayern would be like fizzling away down the stretch. That didn't really happen. But then I had Bayern beat United, and I had Copenhagen draw against. Hold on, I'm mixing it up. My God. So I had Galatasaray beat United, and the draw happened. And then I had Copenhagen draw Galatasaray again, and Copenhagen beat Galatasaray to make it to the Champions League knockouts. Well-deserving performances. We know what happened with Manchester United. They're a very, very disappointing side. We know what they could have done. Injuries, underperformance, partially also things on Ten Hag, making some mistakes here and there. Onana's poor performances in net. A lot of things went wrong for Manchester United in that Champions League group stage. I think we can all address that. The one thing we did learn, though, from the Champions League group stage was that fans should not have underestimated Galatasaray and Copenhagen. I knew about Galatasaray. I knew they had good players. The Turkish league is not a pushover. You have your other star powers, such as I believe Fenerbahce is in that league. I'm just drawing a blank on some others like Trabzonspor. They're not bad either. So the Turkish league is not a pushover. Galatasaray proved that. But Copenhagen also continued the narrative that the Danish league is not a pushover either. So Copenhagen made the knockouts. If we look at my predictions, I had Bayern through on 18 points. I actually had Galatasaray through on 6 points in my prediction. United on 5, and Copenhagen in 3. And I finished Bayern on 18, then Copenhagen, then Galatasaray, who made it to the Europa League knockouts, and then Manchester United. Group B, oh God. I knew this was going to be bad off the jump because I predicted Arsenal to finish in second. I don't think I should have done that. And the reason I picked Arsenal to finish in second because I had no confidence in them to do anything in Europe again. We know what happened in the Europa League last year with Arsenal making out of the group. They did lose, I believe, to Zurich in the group stage. And then they just went out and got eliminated by Sporting in the knockouts. So let's see how bad this was. First match. Oh, Jesus. I had Arsenal 1, PSV 1. That didn't happen. Arsenal won 4-0, a convincing 4-0. Already off to a hot start. And then I had Sevilla 2, Lens 0. I really underestimated Lens. I don't think I should have done that. That match ended in a 1-1 draw. Then I had Arsenal going to Lens, winning 1-0. That didn't happen. Lens played a very solid match and went out and beat Arsenal 2-1. And then I had Sevilla draw PSV, and Sevilla should have drawn PSV. PSV did win 2-1. And then I had Lens draw against PSV. That did happen, and the score prediction was correct as well. It was a 1-1 draw. I predicted, and it finished out a 1-1 draw. And we also had Arsenal also get a score prediction right. I had Arsenal 2, Sevilla 1, and that did happen as well. So 2 score predictions right. I'm actually getting decent at this, guys. Trust me on this. And then in match day 4, I had Arsenal go out and draw against Sevilla. That did not happen. Arsenal won 2-0. They deserved to win that match. And let me PSV beat Lens. I did predict that to happen. I know it's hard to play in the Netherlands, though I didn't underestimate how good some of these teams are on the road. And you're going to learn about that in a minute. Then we had PSV. I had them beating Sevilla. PSV, I had them drawing Sevilla, and then PSV beat Sevilla in real life, so that did not happen. And then I had Arsenal beat Lens, and then Arsenal played the greatest half of Arsenal football I've ever seen in my life. Out of the time that I watched them, then went out and beat Lens 6-0. So nice result there. Then I had Arsenal lose to PSV because that's just something old Arsenal would do. Just play a great match and then fizzle away in the next. That didn't happen. Arsenal got a draw on the last day while playing the backups. And then I did have Lens beat Sevilla on the last day. So my group prediction was PSV, Arsenal, Sevilla, then Lens. Arsenal won the group. And then it was PSV, Lens, Sevilla. I really underestimated Lens in this group. They were 1 point out of making it to the Champions League knockouts. Much respect to Lens. They're going to have a fun time in the Europa League. PSV, though, make it to the Champions League knockouts. And we'll talk to you about their matchup later on in the video. Arsenal make it out as group winners. They had the most talented squad. I just didn't know if the team would be able to adjust to the Champions League play after getting knocked out in the Europa League last year. I didn't know how they were going to look. Arsenal, some people are saying they're a dark horse to win. I'll say why they're not in a little while. I mean, I don't know if dark horse is even the right term. That's why I'm saying that. Group C, I already know I did pretty good on this one. I did. So, by the way, out of the teams, I did it. I'm 3 of 4 on teams making the knockouts. And this one is going to be another 2-banger. Starting us off, this group was Real Madrid, Napoli, Union Berlin, and Braga. Starting us off, I have a score prediction right. I had Real Madrid beat Union Berlin 1-0. That did happen. Real Madrid didn't look very good. Union Berlin also looked really bad, and they've looked really bad all year. They haven't been able to win many games, and and like I said, they went winless in the group stage. Just as a heads up. Then I had Braga draw Napoli. I thought Braga was going to make a statement early on and then do nothing afterwards. That didn't happen. Napoli went out and won 2-1. Then I had Braga beat Union Berlin. Actually, then I had Braga draw Union Berlin. It's kind of conflicting with having both things next to each other on this iPad. That did not happen. Braga beat Union Berlin 3-2 to continue their claim to try and be legit in this competition. Then I had Real Madrid draw Napoli in Naples. That didn't happen. It was a phenomenal match, back and forth all the way. Real Madrid won 3-2. That was, I believe, the only points I had. Yeah, that was the only points I would have had Real Madrid drawing or points dropped. They didn't drop a point in the group stage, so much respect to Real Madrid. You already know they're going to make the knockouts. So, but who else made it though? Then I had Union Berlin beat Napoli 1-0. It was a reverse 1-0. Napoli went out to East Germany and won 1-0. Then I had Real Madrid beat Braga to 1-0. They beat Braga 2-1, so that prediction was kind of solid. Then I had Napoli go out and grab a 1-1 draw with Union Berlin. I'm actually pretty decent at this, I didn't think the scores were going to be right, but I'm actually doing pretty decent based on terms of the score predictions. So, yeah, not off to a terrible start. Napoli did draw Union Berlin 1-1. It was a decent back and forth. Union Berlin probably kicking themselves. I think they could have gotten 3 points, but same for Napoli. They could have gotten 3 points as well. They had Real Madrid beat Braga 2-0. They won 3-0. Then I had Braga draw Union Berlin. Actually, I had Braga beat Union Berlin. They drew. Like I said, it's just conflicting reading these. I'm sorry, guys. Then I had Real Madrid beat Napoli 2-0, and then they in real life won 4-2. Good match back and forth. I really liked that match to watch. And then I had Real Madrid beat Union Berlin 3-0. The score was I had Real Madrid's score right. I didn't expect Union Berlin to really be in this game. It's Real Madrid. Real Madrid had to come from behind to beat that Union Berlin side. So Union Berlin kicking themselves because I think they could have been a Europa League club, but in the end, it went to Braga, who went out and also lost. They lost 3-0 to Napoli. I had that one being a 2-0 to Napoli. So in reality, I predicted 16 points for Real Madrid. They had 18 points. Napoli had 6 points in my prediction. They had in real life they had 8. And then I had Union Berlin with 5 in my prediction. They ended up with 4. Actually, I'm reading the wrong group. Professional here. My thing crashed, and then it's not reading. Oh my god. This is what happens when your Wi-Fi is spotty and it's really raining hard outside. So Napoli, I predicted with 6. They finished with 10. Braga finished with 4. I did predict them, I think, to have 4. I predicted them to have 5, damn it. And then Union Berlin had 2. Less said about them, the better. They went out with a whimper, though. They did have a decent fight, though. I gotta give them some credit. And then the group I did not expect at all. In this group, cover your ears because this group prediction was really bad. Starting us off, we had Inter and Sociedad. I really underestimated Sociedad. I predicted them to finish in last, even behind Salzburg. I'm 5 of 6 in my group stage predictions. That's not going to stand. That match ended 1-1. Sociedad saying that, yeah, we're here to compete, and I really respect that. And then I had Salzburg draw Benfica. And then Salzburg went out and beat Benfica 2-0. So, not the worst prediction ever, but not the best prediction ever, if you know what I'm saying. Then I had Salzburg, oh Jesus, beat Sociedad 3-0. What was I on with Salzburg? It deserves a laugh because I've never oh god. Oh lord. Okay. Sociedad won 2-0. I really underestimated how good of a road team Sociedad was, and you're gonna see why in a minute. Then I had Inter beat Benfica 1-0, and I did have that score prediction right. Inter did beat Benfica 1-0. That Inter beat Salzburg. I didn't have the score prediction right for this one. Inter won 2-1. In my prediction, they won 1-0. Then I had Benfica draw Sociedad. I really underestimated. I continually to underestimate the Sociedad team. Sociedad went out and won. Then I had Benfica went out away. That also didn't happen. So this prediction is getting much worse and worse by the minute. Then I had Salzburg beat Inter in my prediction. They didn't do that. Inter won 1-0. Then I had Benfica beat Inter Milan. Benfica should have beaten Inter Milan, but they didn't. They choked. Drew 3-3. Then I had Sociedad beat Salzburg in my prediction. That didn't happen. They drew 0-0. Less said about that game, the better. Then Inter draw against Sociedad, which I did have correct. I said it was going to be a 1-1. It ended in a 0-0. And then finally, I had Benfica beat Salzburg. That did happen, but my table is so wrong. I did have Inter finishing in second, which I thought was going to be a bad shout, and it turned out to not be. Sociedad won the group, followed by Inter. Of course, I had Benfica, then Inter. Salzburg finished in bottom. I predicted them to have 7 points. They finished with 4. Benfica, I predicted to finish with 11. They also had 4. But Sociedad and Inter both finishing on 12 points. So not bad showings from both of those two. This is another bad prediction. I'm really mad about this one because I really thought that Feyenoord was going to win this group, and they didn't do that. And we'll see why in a second. Starting us off, we I had Lazio beat Atletico Madrid. That didn't happen. They played a great 1-1 draw. I was listening to that game as well. I had like a radio comp of all the matches they're going through each match, and Lazio played a solid match against Atletico Madrid. Then I had Feyenoord beat Celtic. I think this one was pretty self-explanatory. Feyenoord, a decent bunch playing in the Netherlands. It's a tough place to play, and I think Feyenoord deserved to win that match. Then I had Atletico Madrid beat Feyenoord. I did have that prediction. Atletico Madrid played a thrilling 3-2 win over Feyenoord. I had that. My prediction was a 1-0, but it really ended in the 3-2. Then I had Celtic drawing Lazio. A very interesting prediction by me. That did not happen. Lazio went out and beat Celtic 2-1 in Scotland. It was not pretty. Celtic should have lost by much, much more. Then I had Feyenoord. I had them beating Lazio to start match day 3. That did happen. The score prediction was not right. I had it as a 2-0 to Feyenoord, and it really ended a 3-1. So 2-goal cushion was kind of correct. And then I had this shout. I had Celtic drawing Atletico Madrid, and that did happen. Much props to Celtic. I didn't have them losing very much, but that less about Celtic, the better. Celtic did draw Atletico Madrid, and then I had Celtic draw Atletico Madrid again. That didn't happen. Atletico Madrid won 6-0. Very ugly game throughout. I think they could have won by, it felt like 1 million. So not the best showing ever here in Group E for Celtic. Then I had my prediction was Feyenoord to beat Lazio. That didn't happen. Lazio played a solid 1-0 win in Italy against Feyenoord. A good result for Lazio that would help get them to where they would need to be to make the Champions League knockouts. Then I had Lazio drawing Celtic again. Yeah, I had them drawing again. That didn't happen. Lazio beat Celtic 2-0. My prediction was a 1-1. Then we had Feyenoord beat Atletico Madrid. That didn't happen. Atletico Madrid basically ran Feyenoord off the field. 3-1 to Atletico Madrid. I felt like they really dominated the match. Then I had Atletico Madrid beat Lazio. I did have that prediction correct. And I also had Celtic beat Feyenoord 2-1. I did have that prediction right. And by the way, if you want to see any of my predictions score-wise, just to make sure like I'm not just talking out of my ass here. First time I've ever technically cursed on this channel. I don't know if am I gonna get demonetized now? Damn it. We just got demonetized. Woohoo. Yeah. Just to make sure my predictions were, I'm just not like reading off of someone else's predictions. That's what I should have said. Here is what I'm reading on my iPad. I don't know. Yeah, you probably can't see it. Because my screen's too bright. But I am reading from my exact Instagram predictions that you can see on the Robbie Basel Show Instagram, just to make sure that like my predictions are accurate. I'm reading off. I have on my screen like one side I have my predictions, and the other I have the actual scores up. But yeah, Group E I had Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, Celtic, then Lazio. The group ended Atletico Madrid, Lazio, Feyenoord, and then Celtic. To the group of death, and I already know I got this one wrong. We'll start it off with AC Milan drawing Newcastle. I did have that right, as well as PSG beating Borussia Dortmund. I thought my predictions were going to go. This is when I thought, I'm like, okay, yeah, your predictions are going to go really good for the rest of the Champions League. That didn't happen for this group. I don't think so. I did have Dortmund draw AC Milan to start match day 2. And I also had Newcastle beating PSG. I did have it as a 2-1. It ended at 4-1, but right now 4-4. This is where it started to fall. I had PSG draw AC Milan. PSG won that match 3-0. Then I had Dortmund with another score prediction correct here. So if you're keeping track of that, this is another one. I did have Borussia Dortmund beat Newcastle 1-0. I'm not bad at this, you know. Other than the 6-0, I didn't think I had that score prediction that off. That's not true, actually. I've had a couple, but I can dream, chat. I can dream, Then we had AC. What match am I on? Newcastle then went out and lost the return leg. I actually had that prediction correct as well. Not the score. I said it was going to be a 2-0. I said it was going to be a 1-0 and ended a 2-0. And then we had AC Milan beat PSG, a prediction I did have correct as well. I had AC Milan win that match 1-0. Really ended as a 2-1. And then I had AC Milan beat Borussia Dortmund. That did not happen. Borussia Dortmund went out and won 3-1 over AC Milan. Then I had PSG beat Newcastle. That didn't happen either. PSG went out and drew Newcastle on match day 5, setting up a phenomenal match day where I predicted AC Milan to draw Newcastle. That didn't happen. AC Milan beat Newcastle 2-1. A thriller that almost got AC Milan into the Champions League knockouts. But Borussia Dortmund drawing PSG sealed the deal. I actually had PSG winning that match. So my group prediction was AC Milan, then PSG, then Dortmund, then Newcastle. Swap AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund, because Dortmund won the group, followed by PSG. Then we had AC Milan and then Newcastle. I did have Newcastle's points, I believe, right as well. If we take a look, yeah, I did. Goal difference was barely off too. I'm actually not terrible. Not a terrible shot by me there. Next up, we have Group G, which was a group I knew that was going to be dominated by the top two. I didn't expect a very poor performance from Red Star. I thought they were going to be much better. Starting us off, we had Leipzig beat Young Boys. I did have that. I like this Leipzig team a lot. I did predict them to finish in second if you didn't see the predictions in the Instagram. So, yeah, not a bad start. I did have City by score prediction as well, 3-1. I did predict a 3-1. They did win 3-1 over Red Star at the Etihad. It was a dominant match back all the way. Then I had Red Star beat Young Boys in Serbia. That did not happen. I was very disappointed from Red Star. They went on drew 2-2. Hard break at the end. Then I had Leipzig get the only points that Man City would drop. That didn't happen either. Man City beat Leipzig 3-1 in Germany. I thought that was going to be a draw. It didn't happen. Then I had City beat Young Boys. I did have that. I had City win 2-1. Yeah, I had City win 2-1. They won 3-1. Very solid prediction there. And then I had Leipzig beat Red Star. I did have that as well. Leipzig beat Red Star in real life 3-1. I predicted them to win 1-0. Then we had a fun result here and another score prediction correct. Man City beat Young Boys 3-0, and I did have that prediction as well. It's a good shout there by me. And then I had in my prediction, I had Red Star beat Leipzig 1-0. I can't keep getting away with this. I can't keep getting away with this. I can't keep getting away from it. Can't even talk about how bad that prediction is. That didn't happen. Right, Leipzig won 2-1, and the less said about that comment, the better. Then I had Young Boys beat Red Star. That did happen. I had not Leipzig. Young Boys win that match 2-1. In real life, they won 2-0. Then I had City beat Leipzig. I predicted a 1-0. It ended a 3-2. So I had the team right. I just had nowhere near the score prediction correct. Then I had Leipzig get another score prediction correct. Turn me up, chat. I had a 2-1 prediction for Leipzig. That did happen on the money. So not bad there. Then I had Red Star lose to City on the last day. That did happen. So not bad predictions in that group. I had City, then Leipzig. I did have Red Star in third, which is not very good. And then I had Young Boys. It really just ended with the top two being correct, and Young Boys finished in third. So not the worst prediction ever, but once again, not the best. I'm trying to get as much accurate as possible. This group, I kind of expected this to happen. I also think it was not even close. So you guys can judge on that one. And we're going to Group H. Starting us off, we had Barcelona and real life decimate Royal Antwerp. I said it was a 1-0 and ended at 5-0. So not the worst prediction, but not the best. And then we had Porto beat Shakhtar. I did have that. I also underestimate how good Shakhtar was in this, or what they were going to be, which sucked because I thought Shakhtar was going to like have to fight for draws every time, and they almost made the Champions League knockouts. So let's take a look. We had, of course, we had Shakhtar. I predicted a 0-0 draw and ended at a 3-2 to Shakhtar. Then I Barcelona barely beat Porto. I said it was a 2-0, but I remember saying the prediction it was going to be pretty close throughout. It ended as a 1-0 for Barcelona. I like that result. I think the pick was pretty good. And then I had another score prediction correct. Turn it up. Barcelona, I had beat Shakhtar 2-1. I did predict the score correct as well. So not bad work there. I didn't get the score right on the other one. We'll talk about that one in a second. Then I had Antwerp drawing Porto. Yeah, 4 draws from Antwerp is not going to be right, but it's pretty awful. Disappointed. Porto won 4-1. It was not even close. Shakhtar, then I had beat Barcelona. And that did happen. I got a lot of criticism for that one because I'm like, Barcelona losing to Shakhtar? What are you on? Guess what? Shakhtar's legit. And I think they're going to be a serious contender to possibly win the Europa League. They went out and won 1-0 in real life. I predicted a 2-1. Then I had Porto beat Antwerp 2-1, excuse me. And then they won 2-0. And then I had Shakhtar draw Antwerp again. Shakhtar beat Antwerp again. So good result there from Shakhtar. And then I had Barcelona beat Porto. I did have that. What I also didn't have was I had the last 2 predictions wrong, which is Antwerp. I had them drawing Barcelona. That didn't happen. Antwerp actually went out and beat Barcelona. And then then we had Porto beat Shakhtar. I did not have that. I had it as a draw. So the final results were Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar, and Antwerp. I actually had that group entirely correct in terms of ordering as well. So not the worst predictions ever, but obviously not the best. We had our wrong predictions with Benfica. We've had our wrong predictions with Feyenoord. But now it's time to look at the Champions League knockouts, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna predict you my expectations for the round of 16 because, like I said, we have to know the draws for how the rest of the tournament's gonna go. So I'm only gonna do the round of 16 here today, and we're gonna start ourselves off with a fun tie because the draw was today. We're gonna start with Leipzig against Real Madrid. I'm really expecting Real Madrid to win this tie, but I don't think Leipzig is going to give it up right away. Leipzig has gone on and conceded a lot of goals, but if you look at the goal differences, what I want to look out for is Leipzig's goal difference. I don't think it was that awful. Yeah, Leipzig's goal difference is pretty bad. They conceded a lot. They conceded 10 goals in 6 games to teams like, a group that also featured Young Boys and Red Star. So I'm going to go Real Madrid. I'm going to say they win this tie 5-2. So why not? You know what? What I'm going to do is, I don't know if I can do it. Hold on one second. I don't know. Can I predict? Do I got a thing like I did on the Instagram like last time? For the Champions League knockouts? I don't think so. If I can, I would love to. While I'm doing this, like the video. 10 likes and I'll do a commentary on whatever. On whatever topic you guys want. I can call out someone. I can do any of that. So let me take a look. I don't think so. Can I? I know the Wi-Fi is really slow here. Can we get a prediction? I don't think so. So I'm just gonna give you what I expect. I'm gonna say Real Madrid through. Real Madrid should be through. Then we have Copenhagen against City. City got a gift draw. I don't know if they paid some of their oil money. Actually, not even oil money. I don't even know what money they get from that their owners now over there at Manchester City. Team that's in more controversy. I think don't look very good against Copenhagen away, but they're going to dominate at the Etihad. Give me Man City to win that tie and advance to the round of to the quarterfinals. We're gonna go with Bayern against Lazio. I kind of like this one, Lazio, a team that no one. I don't know how many people expected to make the Champions League knockouts. They look decent in their group. Bayern has so much talent, but I think they're gonna look pretty awful. I'm gonna say Bayern wins, but it's not gonna look very good. I'm gonna say Bayern wins by only about 1 or 2 goals. It's not gonna look pretty. PSG Sociedad, I think this could be a possible upset for Sociedad. They looked really good in the group stage. PSG, though, they played in a very tough group. I think PSG should win this tie, but don't expect them to go out there and dominate. I think PSG are going to win this tie, but it's, once again, like Bayern, it ain't going to be pretty. They have Inter and Atletico Madrid. This is my favorite tie of this round. I think this is the most balanced tie out of them all. Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, two teams that were probably favorites to win their group or up there to win their group. I had both these teams projected to finish second. I thought, of course, Atletico Madrid won their group, so that's how they're here. But both of these sides, very balanced. I'm going to go with Inter. So I like Inter Milan a lot to possibly even go out and possibly win this thing. I think they're a very solid bunch. Atletico Madrid looks spotty at times. I'm going to go with Inter Milan. I think that's going to be a decent prediction. Then we have Barcelona against Napoli. I don't know. I think we saw this one in the Europa League a couple years ago. I remember when I was in Italy. Yeah, during my Italy trip year. So that was during my senior year of high school. These two played in the Europa League. And they drew their first match. But then Napoli at home lost to Barcelona. And that's how Barcelona kept going in the Europa League, eventually getting knocked out by, I believe, Eintracht Frankfurt from Germany. But I like Barcelona. They're in great form, I think, in the Champions League. I think they're going to draw in Naples, and then Barcelona's going to run them off the field in Spain. So give me Barcelona. And then finally, we have another good tie, I think. Arsenal against Porto. Arsenal, I don't know about them. There's so many ways you could talk about this Arsenal squad. They have so many good players. You can talk about your Odegaards, your Sakas, your all those types of players. And then you realize that Porto are one of the better defensive teams that made it to the Champions League knockouts, finishing second. If you want to talk about defenses, you can talk about your Inter Milans. I mean, Arsenal, of course, is going to be up there, but Copenhagen. There's only a fair few teams that allow under 10 goals that finished in second in the Champions League knockouts. There are only, I believe, 2 or 3. Lazio's on that list. Porto's on that list too. And PSG with Inter and then Copenhagen a lot less than 10. So there's a couple teams there. And Porto, though, loves to score goals. They outscored Barcelona. They scored 15 goals. So I think this could be a bit of a struggle for Arsenal. I think this is going to be the highest scoring tie out of them all. I'm going to say Arsenal's through, but it's going to be very high scoring. Defenses are not going to look very good. I'm going to say this tie ends 6-4. I'm going to say Arsenal wins in a high scoring 2-legged tie. I'm very excited. Unfortunately, though, we have to wait till February to really see, because like I said, we have to wait till February. These ties don't occur until the day before Valentine's Day. So it's going to be a while again before I talk about the Champions League. And I hope you enjoy that video. When we get there, of course, because of course that is the end of today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys got to laugh at some of my bad Champions League predictions. I was certainly laughing. And listen, when you see these predictions live, when you make the predictions live, they're like, oh goodness. Some of these predictions can be really bad. Of course, I had a little bit of those moments there. Thank you. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. There will be a video on what's today? There will be a video Friday, and then there's not going to be a video for a week. So there's going to be like a couple Mondays that we don't do videos. But more to come. Hopefully, we get some guests coming on soon. I still have to communicate a little, do a little bit of communication there. And make sure to follow the Instagram so you don't miss an update in case there is a change of topic or or unless a guest is coming on. Make sure to follow me at rbasel_11 to make sure you don't get any miss any updates from my show, Into the Stands, or anything else that's going on. But on that note, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. See you guys Friday. Enjoy your week. Goodbye, everyone.